Do you want to learn how to make this baby doll top? I'll be showing you in this video. I thrifted this nightgown which I'm going to use as my top, but you can basically use any non-stretchy fabric. Okay, so first you're going to want to download and print this sewing pattern, which I'll put the name of it in the description. And once you decide what size you want your top to be, you're going to want to trace around the pattern, I believe about 1/2 inch like the pattern instructions say, so that you can have seam allowance. Or you can also just size up and cut the pattern like that, which is what I've done before and it came out fine. And then you just want to cut out all the pieces. And then obviously you want to use those pattern pieces to cut out shapes from the fabric, but first I'm taking apart my dress so that I can lay the fabric flat. I like to use pattern weights so that the fabric doesn't shift around, but honestly you can kind of use anything. On top of that, I'm also cutting out lining for the cup parts just because I don't want that part to be see-through. I then like to go in and serge all of the pieces that I cut out, but if you don't have a serger, that's okay, you can still do this project. It's just my personal preference to serge them. And then I like to iron the pieces also just for neatness. This is optional, but I'm gonna use some lace trim and you wanna put that facing down. And here I'm just pinning the areas where I'm putting it at. This is what it should look like after stitching it together, and then to actually make it look good, you want to flip it like this, and then stitch one more time. Then you're gonna add the lace onto the other side of the cup and do the same thing. Then sew the corners of the cups together. When you open it up, it should look like this. You want to sew a basting stitch along the bottom of the cup so that it aligns with the pattern piece that goes below it. Then you want to serge the top of the bottom pieces. Here I'm going to sew elastic onto the top back panel so that we can actually put the shirt on, but first I'm going to sew the top of it so that it looks neat. And then I'm going to sew that top back panel with the bottom back panel. It should look like this after you've sewn them together. Now I'm going to sew the elastic on, but that's a whole separate tutorial and video, so you guys can look one up so that it's easier to understand. So then here you want to do a basting stitch on the bottom part so that the width of it aligns with the top panel. So then after you've sewn both pieces together, you want to rip out the basting stitch since we don't need it anymore. Now you want to align the back and front sides so that you can stitch them together. This is what it should look like. Next, I need to cut out the pieces for the straps, which can be done a few different ways. Honestly, I feel like that's a topic that's also kind of hard to explain, which I can do a separate video on, but for now, you can look one up just to get more insight on how to actually do it. That's the whole tutorial on how to make this top. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if you have any sewing tutorial requests.